Hello, my friends. Welcome to Enriched Lives, where you're worthy, you're blessed, and you are a creator. That's right, you're worthy, you're blessed, and you are a creator. Hello, I'm Brother Charles, your host, and we have another fantastic topic for discussion for you today. But before we get into our discussion, let me say this, my friends. If today is the day that you arrived upon the planet, let me say happy birthday to you. That's right. Happy birthday to you. Why? Because God didn't make any junk. And you are somebody. That's right. You're worthy. You're blessed. And you are a creator. That's right. You deserve the best, my friend. Did you not know that? Yes, you do. You deserve the best. Why? Because God didn't make no junk. And out of over, shall we say, 8 billion people on the planet, they're all unique in their own various ways. That makes you a unique person. And you deserve the best. Why? Because you are somebody. Hello, it's a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And I'm Brother Charles, and we have another fantastic topic. Today we have one of those topics that's going to be imperative into the growth of you as an individual. And once you grasp this particular truth, you will see how much more sweeter, shall we say, your life will be, how much more better your life will be. But we like to build our discussions on biblical principles, and of course, today is no different. We're going to use 2 books of the Bible, and those books one will be in the Old Testament, and one is in the New Testament. The book in the Old Testament is the book of Ruth, and we're going to deal with that. Also, Ruth, the first chapter, the 16th verse, and the one in the New Testament is Acts, the 9th chapter, and the 4th through the 6th verses. Now, Ruth deals with the story of Ruth, how she leaves everything to follow Naomi. And our topic for today is total surrender. Total surrender. That's right. Total surrender. I mean, giving it all. I mean, giving everything up. Giving it. And here we see Ruth doing that. She does that. Her husband has died. Naomi's husband has died. Naomi's 2 sons died, to which one that Ruth was married to. And they're in a foreign land. So now Naomi's going to go back home. The other daughter-in-law stays with her, leaves, and goes back to her home. But Ruth, she clings to Naomi. And she makes a very intriguing statement. She said, listen, your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. In other words, she's going to surrender up all of her beliefs and concepts and ideologies that she was taught to go with Naomi. That's very interesting, isn't it? And also the conversion of Saul to Paul. Saul here has a unique experience. He has one of those experiences that's mind-shattering. And Saul was a very zealous individual. Wherever he put his heart in whatever he was doing, he was very zealous about it. He did the whole 9 yards. He didn't bag up. And he was persecuting the church at that time. This is when he has his encounter with Jesus. And he's knocked off of the horse and falls to the ground. Here's a voice. Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And Saul, well, who is it? And he says, I'm Jesus, the one you're persecuting. And Saul says, what would you have me do, Lord? What would you have me do? Read that story about the conversion of Saul to Paul. Very intriguing. Anyway, we're talking about total surrender. Total surrender. Surrender means the fact that you're going to give up something, that you're no longer struggling with it, that you have abandoned whatever it is that you were dealing with. That there's a problem when you come to the end of yourself, you're going into surrender. You're going to surrender that. Now, surrender is one of those things. We don't talk about surrender that much, but it's very important for your spiritual growth. Surrender. You see, because when you surrender, it's no longer you there. You have given up all aspects of whatever it is that you're wrestling with or battling with. There's no longer resistance there. And so therefore you have surrendered to whatever it is. I will share personally with you a problem that I had that I had to surrender that. But before you can surrender anything, you have to make a decision. You have to come to that point that there's nothing else that I can do. There's nothing else that I can do. So therefore, you come to that point. When you come to that point that there is nothing else that I can do, then you say, well, I'm just going to have to surrender this. Now you are in a position where it's that you can be held. But as long as you're holding on to the fact, well, I think I can do this, I think I can do that, you haven't surrendered. Individuals tell you, give it to the Lord, surrender it to the Lord. Well, what they're saying in essence, you got to come to the end of yourself. You got to come to the end of it. Anything that you're holding on to that you think that you can handle, you've got to come to the point and say, look, there's nothing else I can do. Best thing for me to do is to what? Surrender. And so when you take that problem and give it to the Lord, when you surrender whatever it is, you give it to God. In other words, I no longer have this problem. I can't do anything with it. Whatever you do with it, Lord, is fine with me. I can share with you personally. I had a problem, and I came to that particular point. I had a good little, what they say, a little come to Jesus meeting. I mean, we sit down and talk about 20 minutes. I mean, we boo-hoo, not necessarily boo-hoo, just told God everything on our little heart that we could think of and just put it out there. Put it out there and just let us know, Lord, whatever you do is fine with me. If you wanted to go this way, whatever way you go. So I surrendered that problem to God. And when I did that, my friend, when I did that, guess what? My answer came about 2 weeks later. But you know, whenever God answers a problem for you, know God is answering. But that was something about after I got through with that conversion or expression of telling God what the problem was. Now, there's a scripture in the Bible that says that there's a peace that transcends, that goes beyond understanding. Well, that was like a burden that was lifted up off of me. I cannot explain it. I can't put it into words and tell you about that. But I do know this, that when I gave that problem to the Lord, I can assure you that burden was lifted. And I no longer thought about it. I no longer worried about it. And my answer came. Now, when you surrender whatever it is that you're wrestling against, when you give it to God, I mean, totally give it to him. I'm not talking holding on, well, I think I can do this, not that. No, when you totally give it to God, I can assure you, my friend, that the burden will be lifted and you will enter into a form of life that you didn't even know existed, a peace that transcends understanding. You will enter into that. Let's look at this concept here with Ruth. Ruth tells Naomi, saying, look, Naomi, your God's going to be my God. Wherever you go, I'm going to go. That's what Naomi said. And so Naomi follows Ruth. She does that. She follows that. And she follows Ruth. Now that's very interesting because she gave up everything. She totally surrendered to follow Ruth. She gave up everything. And so let's look at Paul. Saul surrenders, Lord, whatever it is, what do you want me to do? Here he surrenders. Saul is no longer I, but Christ in me. Saul surrenders to the Lord. His name is changed to Paul. I mean, total surrender. Now that's a very beautiful example of a total surrender. Whatever he did it zealously, and he did it for the Lord, and he totally surrendered that thing. So now, whenever you and I surrender, we must first understand that we come to the point that number one is that we have to acknowledge that there is a problem, and we accept it. We accept the problem as it is, okay? And the next thing is that we have to learn how to what? Let it go. Let it go, because if you don't know how to let something go, you're going to continue to hold on to something. And then you have to ask yourself this question: why am I holding on to something that is giving me problems, that's troubling me, that's causing me to lose my? Why am I wrestling with this thing? Surrender to it and let it go. And when you do that, you will enter into a form of peace that you didn't know existed. You're no longer struggling with a problem. Why? Because you have surrendered that. You're no longer wrapped. There's no longer resistance there. You have surrendered that problem. And when you let it go, you trust your instinct. You trust your inside. You know, people say, well, you know, if I'd have followed my first mind, we call it a gut expression. If I would have followed my first mind, I wouldn't be doing. See, you didn't follow your first mind. Your spirit changed. Let the thing go. You can't do anything else with it. I've seen people that will hold on to that little ignorance, hold on to a little feeling, if they do them wrong, I'm going to make them pay. I'm going to make them, and that stuff is more detrimental to them. They're holding on to something that they can't win in. So you have to surrender to it and move on and let it go and smile. And once you get through that problem, you say, hey, I'm moving to a different area. I no longer wrestle with that. It's very interesting because if you have any kind of internal problems or things like that, judicial problems, whatever it is, and you have an attorney speaking for you, you don't say, you say, hey, you need to be talking to my attorney. You don't talk to me. Why you call me? I'm no longer wrestling with that problem. See, when I take my car to the shop, I don't worry about what the mechanic's going to do or how he's going to do it. I just want results. That's all I want. So I don't worry about that because I think he knows what he's doing or she knows what whoever's fixing, I know they know what they're doing. If they don't, then we'll see. But I no longer carry that problem. I wonder if they're going to put the right thing on. No, we don't worry about that. We surrender. We surrender that. We let it go. We let it go. You've heard individuals say, I'll be driving down the street and somebody cut out in front of me, and all of a sudden I get mad and say some terrible words about blank, 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 and all that. All of a sudden, and then I'm coming to Jesus, I'm going to go to the Lord, and all of a sudden I've joined the church, and I have stopped to take notes of myself as to within the last year, I have noticed that I don't get upset like I used to. Why? Because there's a scripture in James that says, let patience have its perfect work. Let her have her perfect work in you. And when patience is working in you, the things that upset you at first, a year later, they don't bother you. Why? Because patience is at work within you. See, once we begin to understand who we are, you are somebody. Don't ever devalue who you are. There's a work going on inside of you, my friend, and that work is a good work. Once you surrender to the leading and guidance of the Spirit within you, once you surrender to the fact that, hey, things are going to be better. There's no longer I'm no longer fighting against anything. See, because I know that all things, notice, all things work together for my good. See, I am somebody. Once you surrender to the fact that you are worthy, you're blessed, and you are a creator, don't worry about whatever people say. You are somebody. Now you get into the good life, my friend. You know what it's like to be living in a surrendered life. The surrendered life is a life that allows Christ to manifest within them, to move within them, not to be upset. People that have surrendered to the Lord, they don't get easy. They don't get angry as easy as others do. That's a surrendered life that's following Christ. You, my friends, your life will be so much more sweeter when you decide to surrender and follow God. Your life will be better, I can assure you. It's just like taking a boat, rowing up the stream. If you're rowing up the stream, it's hard. But if you're going down the stream, it's easy. And when you let go of that problem, you're going to be going down the stream. Why? You've given it to God. Until next time, my friends, until next time. This is Brother Charles, book Enriched Lives, where you're worthy, you're blessed, and you are a creator. And remember, my friends, if there's a problem, surrender to that thing. Give it to someone that can handle it. I can assure you, you don't need to be worried with it. There's other things that you have to be doing with your life. And move on, my friends. God wants to handle your problems. Give them to him and see how much sweeter your life will be. Until next time, you be blessed. Like this channel, like this presentation. Share it and tell someone else about it. Until next time, you be blessed, my friend. May the good Lord bless you. May love, joy, peace, and happiness forever be with you as we walk upon this good earth that God has given us. Until next time, you be blessed, my friend. And remember, surrender whatever problems you have and give them to God. You be blessed.